Have you ever heard of lack of money is a little bit of a problem? You know what? Lack of money is never, ever a problem. What I mean by that? Lack of money is simply a symptom of the problem, but it's not the cause of the problem. What the problem really is lack of skill. Have you ever heard stories of lottery winners who suddenly have a windfall of money coming into their lives, millions and millions of dollars, only found themselves a few years later broke, bankrupt, actually sometimes worse off when they were financially? Now, why is that? They have money, but they don't have the skills of the rich. I am rich not because of my money, because I started with no money. I was in debt. I was hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. I am rich because of my skills. So today I'm gonna teach you the 7 skills that I have mastered. The ability to speak to groups. I call that public speaking skill. You see, do you know the number one fear that most people have in life? It's not snake and it's not even death. The number one fear that most people have is public speaking. Now, why do so many people, why are they afraid of speaking to groups most of the time? Because they worry about if they're gonna sound stupid, or how do they look, or they are afraid because they might say something wrong. All these things, but you look at great leaders, almost all great leaders, they're all great public speakers, such as Steve Jobs, right? Such as Tony Robbins, Warren Buffett. One of the skills that changed my life is public speaking. When I joined Toastmasters years ago, because I wanted to improve my English and also reduce my accent, and I was improving myself through public speaking. I developed confidence, self-confidence through public speaking. So ask yourself, are you afraid to speak to groups? Do you know how to present your ideas to groups? Can you communicate with conviction and certainty? Can you interact with your audience? Maybe you get sweaty palms. Maybe you were like me in the beginning, like your face would turn pale, right? Your knees would be locked. That's okay. It is a learnable skill. But in order to be rich, public speaking is one of the most valuable skills that you must master.
A lot of people when I first say it, but it'll make sense to you here in a minute. It's called sharing the wealth. Hang tight, this is not a hokey, corny type of thing. I'll explain to you what I mean by sharing the wealth. The people that I've met who have created lots of wealth. I live in a nice community, and you know, I go to the guy across the street. He's a guy who was part of a technology software company. He was one of the many guys that became very wealthy when this company was bought out. I go to the guy on the other side, lives in a $6.5 million house. They built, 5, 10, 15, 20 different dealerships. Berkshire Hathaway came and bought him. They won the biggest dealership here in town in Dallas and Texas. They bought him out. He was one of the many people who all experienced a lot of wealth, and they made lots of money. I go and sit down with people who were part of startups, and you hear stories of so many people. You look at Microsoft on why they kept growing. Apple, when they kept growing. When Steve Jobs died, most people don't know this, he only owned 0.6% of Apple stock. Think about it. The CEO, the founder, only ended up owning 0.6% of stock. Now, some people say, well, it's because he left, he went to Next and he sold that. Okay, I get it. Still, 0.6%. Microsoft, Bill Gates. So many people became wealthy with Microsoft. So many people became wealthy with Amazon. So many people become wealthy. Anything that's ever at the highest scale, wealth has to be created by multiple people. The Clippers organization is owned by a former employee of Microsoft. The Seattle Seahawks and Paul Allen, Trailblazers. It's owned by, it's a former Microsoft. So when you go and study this, you will notice that a lot of people who create their wealth do it that way. I remember one time I had a gentleman I was working with, and he was Jewish, and he would always tell me things about why the Jewish community has money and makes money. And says, hey, very, very vocal guy, big personality, always had money, always made money, and everybody that touched him also made money with him. I said, so you know, what is it? He says, let me tell you the key to success to the Jewish community business people. I said, what is it? He said, when we make money, a lot of people make money. He says, you know what happens when you make money? A lot of people make money. I said, what's that? Everybody constantly wants to go in business with you because why? Every time they go in business with you, who makes money? A lot of people make money. So you keep getting people that keep coming and doing business with you. Now, some of you may say, that's not true. I know this guy that he made his money and it was all him and all this. Fine. He's probably not going to get a lot of people that are going to want to follow him and do business with him from the past. If you generally see that nobody from the past is continuously doing business with a person, it's either that person chose, it's the other people said, when he makes money, only he makes money, nobody else makes money. You got to learn how to share the wealth where you continuously have deals for the rest of your life. Number 4.
Number 4, maintaining focus. Everything around you has been engineered to distract you. We live in a world where attention is the new currency. We see a trend among people where it's increasingly hard to maintain focus because every day, more and more distractions try to hook you in. Maintaining focus has to deal with one's aptitude to choose activities which will serve your ultimate goal over activities that feel good in the moment but have little rewards for the long run. Carpe diem sounds good on paper, but it's never led to anyone who's built anything worth mentioning in their lives. How focused are you on your journey? Let's take yesterday, or even today if you're watching this later in the day. Apart from watching this video, which actions did you take today which will impact your future? Break down for yourself what you did throughout the day from the moment you woke up to the moment you want to sleep, or this moment right now. How many of them contributed to your journey? How many are just time being wasted? We recommend doing this analysis of your day at least once a week in order to determine if your focus is increasing or decreasing over time. You'll discover that you're wasting incredible amounts of time on things that add little to no value to your current or future life. You don't need to binge watch everything on Netflix or spend hours playing video games. That is, if you want the life you visualized at number 3.
Are afraid to perform under pressure. And more importantly, let me say this to you. You'll learn a lot from anybody on how they perform under pressure. Now keep this in mind. Let me say this and stay with me. I'm going to say it slowly. Nobody performs better under pressure than they do when there is no pressure. Let me explain. Robert Horry was known as a great three-point shooter. He won 7 championships, right? Great. When do you think he shoots better threes? In practice, without anybody looking at him, and there's nobody guarding him, or in the game with 3 seconds left on the shot clock? Of course, practice. However, here's the difference. There are people that perform better under pressure than other people perform under pressure. They're both under pressure. One outperforms the other one. I can tell you in the world of business, you got to learn how to perform under pressure better. When you're in war, when you're military, when you're a soldier, you'll learn how to perform under pressure. The same thing goes with sports. Some of you have played sports, organized sports, and you know how it is when it's last minute and your coach is telling you got to do this. We're counting on you and all this stuff. Some people can't handle being counted on. We're counting on you. This is it. You got to make this last place. Oh my God, everybody's counting. What if I don't do it? I'm going to be a loser. You see, that's when you learn about somebody when they have to perform under pressure. And that's when the leader is born, during moments like that. I'm a byproduct of that 17, 18-year-old kid. I would give anything to have a camera watching myself at that 17, 18-year-old guy when the 5 drill sergeants gave me the option to come back home and party and said, you are not worth staying in the military. I'd love to see that. This 37-year-old version PBD is built because of that 17, 18-year-old version PBD made a decision during pressure time. Just like you're going to need to make some decisions during pressure time. And while most people give up during those pressure type situations, you're not. You're going to stick through. And it's going to be difficult, but you're going to stick through. If you do, obviously that's where the payoff comes. Number 6.
Skill number 6 is focus. The one thing that all millionaires share, a commonality between all people that are successful, is focus. A raw, unstoppable focus on whatever brings the most value to your business. And the smart self-made millionaires focus on what brings the most value to their business that also requires the least manual work. Millionaires use and understand what's called the Pareto principle. And what the Pareto principle is, if you don't know it, it means that 20% of all of your actions produce 80% of the results that you are desiring. So maybe that might mean focusing on the 20% of your customers that make up 80% of your profits, or focusing on YouTube because YouTube brings you the most new students, or focusing on Facebook because Facebook ads are bringing you the most profit for your business. The point is, millionaires understand and have the relativity to take a step back and look at the landscape of their business and understand what 20% is producing 80% of the results, and then double and triple down their focus and their effort on that 20% to produce the most results with the least work.
7, and that is the most important skill out of them all, and that is the ability to manage your own mind. I call that your mindset skill. Frustration, negativity, fear, envy, depression, limiting belief, procrastination. How do you manage your emotions? How do you manage your mind? You see, you could get all the other 6 skills right, and you can master all other 6 skills, but if you don't have your mindset right, it's not going to work. I've said it many times. The book Napoleon Hill wrote, it's called Think and Grow Rich. Part of thinking is managing your mind. What are you feeding in your mind? How many times you know exactly what you need to do to accomplish your goal, to achieve results, but you cannot get yourself to do it because of procrastination? Maybe how many times in your life you have opportunities slip through your fingers and you cannot get yourself to step up and take action because of self-limiting belief? Or what about how many times that you know that other people believe in you, but you don't believe in yourself because of self-limiting belief? That's all mindset skill.
Number 8 is time management. They learn time management. And generally you learn time management because a lot of times a rookie entrepreneur may not even make it because they're spending way too much time on Facebook newsfeed. They're spending way too much time on a game, or they're spending way too much time on Snapchat following everybody else. They're spending way too much time on Instagram or all that other stuff, and they're not putting a lot of time into selling, front end, prospecting, creating, networking, relationship. They're not in the hunt, right? So you don't make it. You go straight to the cemetery of entrepreneurs who are millions and billions of people buried there who didn't make it. They tried and they didn't make it there. Time management is when you learn how to make a 1.5 hour appointment become an hour and still effective. How you learn a 30-minute phone call to become 10 minutes. How you learn to leave a message that's an effective message, yet it's not a 6-minute message or a 4-minute message. They learn how to say a message in a bit of a faster way. They know what area they don't need to put time on and say, this is relationship. I'm not putting a deadline on this because this is relationship. Because sometimes you can also be the complete opposite with, okay, I got to go. And then the other person is offended by it because they're also busy and you're busy. It's kind of like, listen, I'm as busy as you are, so don't give me this I'm busy type of thing. Everybody's busy at this point. So sometimes people that play that card when they're not, it kind of rubs people the wrong way who they're already in the hunt at a high different level. So time management, they understand that. But they become very good on the time management side. Work, hours, week, all in. It's strange how they still find ways to save their sanity because you have to stay sane to go long term. You don't hear a lot of the people that make it to the highest of levels taking way too many vacations. You generally don't hear that, but they'll do a schedule of Saturday, boom, go Sunday, and then Monday they come back to refuel. You'll hear them on Sunday being at a spa or a hotel all day and laying out and relaxing. You'll see them doing those sorts of things for them to re-energize. A lot of rookie entrepreneurs that get to $100, $200, $300, or $400,000 a year income, vacation. They're wondering how come they don't absolutely explode and scale because they're more concerned about vacation rather than doing the work. So that is a part of the millionaire's mindset as well. Leverage. Millionaires master leverage. They are master at understanding leverage. And I think one of the reasons why they understand leverage is the sooner you learn that in order to do anything big, you need a team, is the sooner you'll start scaling at a very fast pace. Especially a lot of the driven, self-motivated guys that had high GPAs or did very good in school and they had good grades and they were always good at doing the homework right and nobody does it better than me. I'm a perfectionist. They typically have the hardest time. The guys that didn't have the best grades and they were kind of played a little bit of sports, they generally don't have a hard time with this. You know why? Because they've always needed help. So it's kind of like, man, I need help. I still need help. But the ones that typically have independently, were very good in homework, they have a hard time knowing that they need help. Leverage is a very, very big deal. So you got to learn how to delegate. What do you delegate? What do you not delegate? How do you manage and study a certain thing that you're delegating to somebody to see if they can fully come through with it? Crowdsourcing. One of my favorite questions to ask our staff are, it doesn't matter who it is, I love to ask, what do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think about this idea? What do you think about that? What do you think about this? What are your thoughts? And I like to ask every different type of personality, somebody who is very skeptical but very technical and smart, somebody who is action excited. Tell me what gets you excited about this. Somebody who's normally in the middle and you don't get a lot of reaction. I want to see all because I want to know what they think about it. That's part of leverage. So leverage is, team, recruiting, sales, software, technology, social media, everything, marketing, branding, collaborating, everything is leverage. How can I leverage to make this thing go faster? Leverage. Number five. And adapting, sometimes you have a long time to adapt, sometimes you don't have a long time to adapt. You got to learn how to do both. In the world of business, you want to become a millionaire, market changes. What do you need to do? Oh my gosh, did you see what happened to the market? Tanked. Adapt. Oh my gosh, we have a new president. This is so scary. What are we going to do? This man is the worst man of all time. This woman is the worst. What? Adapt. Oh my goodness, did you see what just happened to the stock market? Adapt. Just adapt. Oh my God, my best client. Adapt. You won't believe what just happened. We're moving. Adapt. You got to learn how to adapt. You got to learn how to adapt. The military teaches you how to adapt. In the world of business, you got to learn how to adapt without complaining.